reality check is important for whatever we do, to see what things we are good at so that we can make them better, and if not, how we can improve on that. And for this, for doing the reality check of clubs, TI has given us the moments of truth. And today we have the opportunity and the great pleasure that our own area director will be conducting the MOT for our club. So please help me welcome none other than Toastmaster Jamaluddin Jami for conducting the Moments of Truth for Mastermind Toastmasters. Over to you, Toastmaster Jami.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good morning from Dhaka. Moments of truth. Could you please unmute yourself and say a few words about that? What do you understand by moments of truth or MOT? Anyone?
I mean, find out wherever you're at that point. To find out the truth, the reality.
Finding the truth.
Finding the truth, really, like finding the Nemo.
Okay.
Reality check.
Fine. Okay. In Arabic, there is a word called ihtisab. In Bengali, we call it atto-samalocona. It's very difficult to understand from the native speakers. I mean, those who are not from Bangladesh. So, I mean, if we translate the atto-samalocona or ihtisab in English, it is called self-criticism. But for moments of truth, this is not like self-criticism, rather a kind of guided evaluations, because a set of questionnaires are there. Based on that, we evaluate ourselves. I mean, for me, if you ask me, like in our real life, what happens? We feel or we think that whatever I am doing, I'm doing right because I don't have any problem, unless and until somebody just fingers at me and says, Jami, this is the thing you did not do right. You may work on that, or you can do this in a right manner. So that is the moment I look back and work on that and rectify myself. Same thing happens in Toastmasters meeting, right? So here, what we are doing, we do have guided questionnaires. If we work on that, we call it moments of truth. Because, you know, guided feedback, I'm talking about this because I'm giving feedback right at this moment about what I did wrong in the past, so that wrong thing is not repeated in the future. So I mean, a kind of rectifying ourselves, this moment of truth. Now, could you please unmute yourself and say, why is it important for a club or for ourselves?
Because
anyone?
When we do the reality check, so we can find out what's the distance between, you know, where are we at right now, and what are the areas to improve, so that we can improve the experience, the members' experience, because Toastmasters is all about members, right? Serving the members. So how we can enhance the experience of members? What are the gaps there, so that we can have a better time or a better learning curve? Yeah.
Thank you. Rightly mentioned. I mean, there are certain criteria. Where are we at this moment? So we can evaluate ourselves, and finally we can work on that to develop for the improvement. Thank you very much. So that was ultimately all about moments of truth from our own perspective. And Toastmasters has given a definition of moment of truth in every place you see. A moment of truth is an episode where a person comes in contact with any aspect of the Toastmasters experience and forms an impression of a club's quality and service. So club's quality and service, when we talk about the quality and services for the guests, for the members, definitely having good experience. So in broad categories, there are 6 areas or categories of moment of truth. I mean, we can work on. First one, first impression, very important one, because if we can create first impression for the guests, I mean, when they come to our meeting, they experience certain things, they observe certain things. Once they have good experience, and definitely that will lead them to come back again and become member for a club. Second thing, membership orientation, commitment for the members. There are certain things we can work on: fellowship, variety, and communication, program planning, and meeting organization, membership strength, and achievement recognition. These are the things. So we'll be working already. I have sent you the Google form, and Toastmaster Shohag worked with you. So already you have filled it out. So you know everything. I don't need to spend much time over there. Let's directly start our session. The whole thing will be divided. I mean, we have divided our members and participants here in 3 groups. There are 3 persons who will be leading the groups. First one, Bernard Duke. He will be staying in main room. He will be covering, he and his group, I mean team, will be covering first impression and membership orientation, because first impression is really important for the guests, for having good experience and about certain things so that we can develop our members. And second one, membership orientation, also important. So because if our officers, if we can work really members goals and planning about joining Toastmasters, they will retain. So retention is important, very important. 2 criteria will be covered by Bernard and his team. Second group, Bashad, she'll be covering 3 and 4. I mean fellowship, variety and communication, and program planning and meeting organization. And third group, Emerald Shohag, will go breakout room 2 and will be covering membership strength and achievement recognition. I have sent you the Excel file with particularly, so you have gone through that your team members have scored something. Based on that, we need to find out answers of 3 questions. What are the, I mean, best practices we do in our club, and what are the challenges we are facing at this moment, and your recommendations, not you, I mean the team recommendations to overcome those challenges. Based on that, we will be working together, and after 10 minutes, we'll come back to this main room, and each team leader will be giving their participation. If you see like the whole scenario will be like this. And for the standard and scores, already I have sent you this Excel file, and you need to work on best practices, challenges, and suggestions or recommendations for each category. So you'll give 2 minutes presentation. Based on that, members and guests will have the clear idea about whole 6 broad areas. I believe I have been able to disseminate what I wanted to mean for each one. Okay, now I'd like to request a host to send team 2 and 3 to the breakout rooms so that we can work for 10 minutes. And Bernard and his team will be here. Also guests may stay here in main room.
All right, very good.
Habib, can you send?
I already opened the breakout room. Can the members go themselves?
I did not get the invite.
I also didn't get.
Okay, I'm sending for on breakout room 1. Who will be the leader?
Breakout
That's
room.
me.
I mean, breakout room 1
Bernard.
will be.
Me.
No. Bernard will be staying in main room. So Bernard
okay.
will be staying main room. So his team member will be Shubho Ridesh, Sally Ripengel, Mahmoud Tassin Chaudhary will be staying in main room. And
Tell
other
me
guests.
about the breakout room 1. Because
Breakout
I
room 1,
Pasha.
Pasha will go breakout room 1. And with him, Samir Muhammad Saleh, Ishtiaq Mahmoud, Sujit Bambuwala,
Sujit is not here. Sujit is not
Zohirul
here.
Islam.
Okay. Well, can we send some guests also?
Guests will be staying with Bernard.
Okay. So we have only.
Yes, from Toastmasters background, they may go.
You can send Christine with me. She's been here for enough to be able to say more.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a Toastmaster myself, and where can I go?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Latisha?
Yes, hello?
Ratisha is here.
Okay. So 4 people in the breakout room.
1.
1.
And breakout room
And
2.
breakout room 2.
So MMR Shohag will be leading, and Muhammad Habibul Islam, Tania Sultana, Medha Hussain, Jamaluddin Jami.
Okay.
All right, so the main breakout room, we can start working.
Please.
We're still here.
But yeah, we need
Nope,
to put
we're
the.
going. It's coming now.
I sent the invitation. And other members who are into the breakout main room, if you want to join, just let me know. I will assign you there.
May I join the breakout room, please?
Which breakout room you want to join?
I can join number 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, breakout room, the main breakout room. Everybody on? Everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, let's start, guys. You know, we have 2 areas to consider, as you heard. The first one is, how do we greet our guests? What are the first impressions? May I have your input, please? Do we greet people warmly and introduce them to our officers and members?
Even guests can input, right? Guests can give the input as well, their experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, please, guests, if you feel free to please unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Yeah, Janet want to say something?
I felt that you did greet us and noticed that we joined as guests. So I think you do that effectively. Maybe Betty could comment on that too.
I thought the same thing. Of course, as often happens, there's some work done when you have to juggle roles, and that took up some of the time, but you still took the time to acknowledge and welcome us.
Very good. Finsa, what about you? Pamela, John, please give us your input.
Thank you. I agree with Janet and Betty that once I was acknowledged, I felt welcome, and it just, I guess, Toastmaster style, that you just make us all feel welcome, and regardless of how far away we are, you still feel like you're part of the team and of the meeting. So I did feel welcome. Thank you.
That's great. Well, I'm happy. I tried something new tonight, and that was, or tonight, my time, whatever time it is on yours, in which I welcome all of our guests. I tried that last week because by nature, that is my instinct. You know, if we were having a normal club meeting, I'd walk up to my guest, I'd welcome them, I'd introduce them to the people in the company. And then I always ask them, what brought you here? So, and then what do they do for a living? And I use that to introduce them to somebody who's in a similar field. So to me, the whole objective is to make people feel warm and not alienated. It's not them and us, it's us. So I just tried it tonight, and it's something I think I'd like to recommend for the future that we do. But may I have from our guests, and Shuba, what were your impressions of this club?
I simply love that club, if I say that, because I'm a part of the team. But then again, I love the warmness what we bring in. You see, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We are doing this, but every Sunday when I come here, I actually look forward to to the meeting, and especially, you know, Sally's creative way of welcoming everybody, you know, wearing, because I'll be wondering, like, okay, what is she wearing today? What colors she is wearing? So that creates a lot of interest. I love it. I feel warm every time I talk to the members especially at the beginning. I feel welcome. So that's my feedback.
Oh, that's great. You know, we want that impression to be real. That's what we are. That's who we are. We want it to be real. Convenient meeting location. Did you find it convenient to join us today?
Yes, from my home through Zoom. All I have to do is get up, get ready, and walk to my table. So it was a long way, but yeah, I loved it.
Traffic was very light.
I think that's a major plus that we have because we are an online club. It is so convenient. And I think we need to emphasize that in our marketing and recruiting. Other thoughts and suggestions? Were you invited to address the club or not yet?
You're asking me?
General question.
Okay. Yeah, maybe the guests can contribute.
Not yet, and there's some. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Betty. Yeah, we're listening.
I was going to say that some clubs have guests introduce themselves and say where they're from at the beginning of the meeting, and that's another level, another way to bring in. Sometimes that's limited by the size of the club or the number of guests, so it's not always feasible. But that's another something that can be done.
You know, Betty, that's something that I always have done as VP membership in my clubs, is I like to get people on their feet immediately, because the biggest fear people have is of speaking in front of strangers. And what I normally do, I use that to reinforce. I say to them, well, you said to me you were scared of speaking in public. Look at the great job you just did. You already spoke in public. So I try to get that fear out of the way fast. But other suggestions that you folks may have? Habib, what about you, John? You're an experienced Toastmaster. Pamela?
Ishtiaq is also here.
Ah.
Our immediate past president.
Habib, please unmute.
If I visit any club, my first expectation will be that I want to feel like a home in a Toastmasters meeting. When I started my first club on the time, I can remember we had a greeter who was responsible to make handshake to everyone. And we had a guideline from our mentor that no one should leave the room without speaking. Like if I have 15 members in the group, 12 members have meeting roles, maybe 3 members didn't get any meeting role. So during the table topic, the members who didn't have any role, they will get the more preference. And after this, if we have a few more table topics, the guest will be invited. And the other guests who couldn't speak during the meeting, they will be called during the guest feedback. So this is how we manage that no one should leave the room without speaking. And I love that idea. And later, the other clubs I was involved with, I tried to implement this strategy. And I have found these simple things engage all the participants in a Toastmasters meeting.
Thank you, Habib. That's a great suggestion. Sally and Ishtiaq, what about you, Janet? Unmute Sally, unmute Janet.
I'm unmuted. Do you want me to go?
Please go ahead.
Could you ask me the question again?
We were talking about making guests feel welcome. What have you noticed in practice in your club or clubs?
Okay. We actually have a guest and member introduction at the beginning where we try to speak we each get a minute and a half to speak, to introduce ourselves, tell what our role is for the evening, our credentials, and we use the word of the day and the theme when we're talking. And so everybody gets a speaking role at the meeting. And then we also get a speaking role with table topics where a small club, usually maybe 9 or 10 of us to 12 of us show up. So we get numerous speaking opportunities throughout the meeting. That makes everyone feel welcome, and we really take care of our guests and let them have even more speaking opportunities if necessary, give them a role if they want to. That's how we make them feel welcome.
Thank you very much. Great advice. Sally, Ishtiaq?
I'll speak first. What I was going to say was I think we do it very well at Mastermind in the fact that Zarul, our president, he welcomes the visitors, and then the visitors are invited to give their views at the end of the meeting. Also, what we noted today, which was brilliant, that the 3 guests said, wow, we'll put our hands up. So that was very good too. To open the meeting room longer, I think that is excellent. I have been to a few Zoom meetings where they say goodbye and they end the meeting just like that. And you feel, oh my God, I just like to have a chat. We do that extremely well. We leave the meeting open, and if guests and members have time, we have a chit chat. So I'll pass the mic on to Istak, our immediate past president, for his views.
Ishtiaq?
Yeah, this is my only club, and I've been here all the time. So from our perspective, so far, our greetings, I suppose it is okay, and it is we are welcoming and friendlier. And in some clubs, I've met, actually people makes the difference. It's not the rules you set makes a difference. It's the people around you there, and their very nature and personality makes the difference. For instance, Shubha being here helps us a lot. For instance, he is very proactive. He goes out talking, greeting to everybody because that is in his innate nature. And Habib is also into a very positive thing, introduce people nicely. So I think here we are doing pretty well. And I have some observation in some other areas, but when that comes, I'll enter to that. But thank you, Bernard.
Thank you, Ishtiaq, for your insight. Folks, let's move on quickly to the second part of what we were required to do. And the second part is, how do we orient our new members? How do we orient them? Is there some way we could improve what we currently do? The floor is open.
So I think there is a lot more to do in that area, because at the end of the day, Toastmasters is all about serving the member. So I believe we must have more visibility for our members and encourage them to speak and come and join the meeting. Of course, if we had an offline meeting, we can even have a non-Toastmasters gathering and just get to know the members. And when it comes to orientation, probably we can start with there is something called member induction. We can implement that. In that way, we can the members can start with a good with a very positive note. Member induction we can start. Another one is the senior Toastmasters. I'm not talking about your own age-wise, like people who have been in Toastmasters for a long time. So they can speak to the new members and orient them. Okay, give them the orientation. Okay, how the journey is going to be, and find out more about what is the member's requirement, so that the club can serve. So those are the 2 areas I think we can implement, which will help the members to start in a very positive note.
Very good. Thank you, Shubha. Would anybody else like to input, please?
I have a suggestion. During the physical meeting, we have more scope to interact with a new member. In online meeting, I see there are some challenges to organize long hour conversation. So I would prefer to have one-to-one session with each member. Like if I have 22 members and the BP education and BP membership take an initiative that in 12 months, one member will have to complete a cycle of one-to-one session with each member. Because in Toastmasters, every member bring their own experience that is very unique. I see that we have some members who get great motivation before joining the meeting. When they become a member after 3-4 meetings, they get challenged for the self-discipline. Like in our home club, a good number of members cannot join the meeting because they found it's too early. When we will have one-to-one session with a different kind of members, the motivation will come from inside that I am part of a great group, and it will keep the member with the flow and speed of the group, and that will ultimately contribute his or her own educational goal.
Thank you very much. Great idea, Habib. Are there any other points people would like to make about taking care of our members' needs?
We assign a mentor when we have new members. We let them assign a mentor and let them sit with one of the seasoned Toastmasters to go through a meeting, and we try to emphasize or get them to start out with table topics, because that's the well-known icebreaker, and it helps them to feel a little more at ease. And then we get feedback after the meeting as to how they felt, and just keep encouraging them to continue, because a lot of times when you join, then you shy away still, but we try to keep them coming back.
Very good. Thank you very much for that. I think there's a very important role for the VPE and then a mentor chair, somebody who chairs the mentor role and in turn appoints or has volunteers from experienced Toastmasters to be mentors. Are there any other points that anybody would like to make based on your experience regarding orienting the new member?
Ishtiaq is back. Maybe we can ask Ishtiaq.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the chats. Ishtiaq, any comments on that, sir? Janet, anything from you?
No, from my end, nothing.
Yeah. Did you say Janet?
Yes, I did.
Okay, everybody's back to the main room.
Everybody back to the main room?
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your input. Great ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
My
Bernard.
pleasure.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your input.
So you are done, Bernard?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, that's great. And Shohag's team also done. What about Basha?
Basha is still there. Maybe someone can prompt. Habib, can you prompt Basha? Ask her to come back.
We need Basha and her team here to start.
Habib.
maybe we better start discussing their questions too.
Yeah.
So Bernard, you are ready with your presentation, right?
I am. Thank you very much.
So they're back.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. So let's start with our first team under Bernard Duke. So could you please, all the members are here, right? Yes, 23,
Yes.
24. Fine. So Bernard, what you have from first impression and membership orientation, could you please state your result with, share your result with other members?
Thank you very much. We had a great group. There was a lot of give and take, a lot of excellent ideas. So let me handle the two elements. So the first element we're talking about, obviously, is the importance of first impressions. Everybody agreed first impressions are critical. And given that, obviously, that is what we should focus on. First impressions start with somebody being warmly welcomed. We think that Sally does a great job, but all of us can also reach out and welcome somebody. It's not just Sally's job, it's all of our jobs. An important point was made that it is important to invite the guest to address us. A suggestion is that potentially we could ask the person right at the beginning, for example, I'd like to welcome Sally. Sally, will you please tell us what brought you here tonight and give us some information? Where do you live? Something like that, just so they get over that fear. Of course, in a real meeting, I've done that, and I find it very good because people who tell you they have a fear of speaking will get up and introduce themselves because they know the most about themselves. And then I always like to say to them, see, you just got over your fear of public speaking. You just got up and presented. Then on a couple of the other suggestions, Habib made a very good point, Ishtiaq made a very good point about chatting with the guest, how normally we would take them around and introduce them. Everybody should speak. Very important point about everybody in the meeting should engage. They should feel part of that meeting. And the way we leave the meeting open at the end for people to interact, we all thought was an excellent way to do it. What I did tonight is I greeted all of our guests in the chat box. I asked them for the email addresses because I think a missing point that we have, and if you use FreeHost Toast, you can capture the emails of your guests and you can put them into a regular follow-up email. I did it in such a way that hopefully I made people feel welcome, and I got the majority of the folks who were our guests today to give me their email address for follow-up. So I think that worked quite well. And I just think it's part of welcoming somebody. You know, if the tone is right, I said, welcome, greetings. Would you kindly share this so we can follow up with you later? Thank you very much. The aspect of member orientation, our group all felt that this was very, very important, that the person, when they are obviously become part of the group, that an induction ceremony be conducted. The importance of an induction ceremony, as everybody mentioned, was that you read out the commitment of the person to the club, and more importantly, the club to the person. The second point that was made, which I thought was excellent, is to do a member interest survey to find out what it is, what drives them, what interests them, what do they want to do in the future, why are they there? And I think the more we can tap into that, the more successful they will be, and hence retention will be high, and we will grow fantastically as a club. The pluses that we noticed was we're an online club. So people can't say, well, you know, I can't drive that far. Habib made a very good point that it's too early. Well, you know, that's fine, but once in a week to do something for your personal growth perhaps isn't that much. Great importance of having one-to-one session with each member periodically to understand what it is, what drives them, and whether they think they're achieving it. And finally, the whole area about the VPE and mentor chair working very closely together. The VPE person can identify from the member interest survey how to position their learning experience and guide them through pathways. And then the mentor chair, and I'm a great believer that certain personalities work best with other personalities. So if we have a good group of mentors who can be trained, and then the mentor chair, and it's something that I cherish being mentored, because I think you grow the future, that you get the right mentors, and it's amazing the self-confidence people will develop and how your club develops and how you retain the people. So that's a quick summary. They were an excellent group of folks, a lot of good input. And thank you very much, Jamal.
Wow, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Great job done by our team one. Thank you very much, really fantastic job. And now next team was DTM Basha with Fellowship, Variety and Communication and Program Planning and Meeting Organization. Basha, could you please? Wow. Basha, could you please unmute yourself? Because you,
yes, I can. We saw Bernard's presentation. We're going to take it up a step and continue how we can improve. We had a small group, but it was a good group. I will confess we did not have enough time. We could have talked for a little bit longer, but we got some good ideas out there. I had put our scores in earlier today. We concentrated on those scores for the most part that were lower. So we started with social events. We felt, it is a best practice to have a social event, some type of a holiday, around a holiday, or a special event such as end of the year awards, just for fun. It can also be used for membership building. And if you have it at similar times every year, then people get used to having that meeting. What are some challenges? Obviously, right now, COVID-19 is a challenge. During other times, maybe, I believe Bernard said some of these too, commute and our busy lives. But if people know how much fun they're going to have, they may be more likely to come. So plan ahead, whether it's a yearly meeting, a quarterly, or a monthly. And if people put it on their event calendars, maybe they're more likely to come. And sometimes we get to know each other better outside of a formal meeting. Participation outside of the club. Let's attend a few, try it out. If you participate in something, come back and give a speech about it. As I said to the group, everything you do in life is a speech. So come back and give a speech. Some of the challenges, people don't know they're out there. It's amazing when you talk to people and they're like, oh, there's other Toastmasters around the world. We also have concerns. We want to make sure when we promote people, especially if they're competing in a contest, that they're ready for it because it reflects on your club. So give them the personal touch, mentor somebody, tell them what to expect, make sure they're ready to step outside the club. And then we also talked about a club newsletter. It's a nice idea. It promotes your club. It's something you can share with guests. You can do one quarterly. It doesn't have to be very frequent because a challenge could be you need the time to gather the material and some suggestions for material, new member interviews, talk about education awards, have members share their experiences in the newsletter and have guests. Have your district director write something for your newsletter. If you visited another club, maybe get somebody to come here and write. There's lots of ways to do that. Again, it's another promotional material. And it also, doesn't it feel good to see your name and your picture? I've seen some clubs I've gone to. I love just going through to see if I'm in it. So it's a nice way to promote the club and get people interested. We didn't really get to this, so I filled in some things and I really just concentrated on meetings beginning and ending on time because that's the only thing that was below a 4. As I said to the group, to me, the highest was a 5. So anything above a 4 is probably pretty good because to me, unless something is perfect or almost perfect, I don't give it a 5. So our one concern was the beginning and ending on time. We know right now there's technology issues. Sometimes there's traffic. It's early morning for some people, late night, and we may have long speeches. Suggestions. Sally is our sergeant at arms. I know she starts the meeting on time, but I don't believe she has access to actually start the Zoom meeting. Maybe have several people, if you can do that, who have that access and can start the meeting. Make sure that that meeting can get started. If Habib is sick or he oversleeps, somebody else can step in and be Habib. We know nobody else can really be Habib, but Somebody can step in and be his assistant. And then modify the agenda. If you have a longer speech going on, modify, have shorter table topics, have something else where you can cut it. So those are our suggestions. Team 2, we rocked. And I think we came up with some good suggestions, and I look forward to the next year. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Marvelous. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's go for our third team, led by MMR Shohag. He and his team is going to cover membership strength and achievement recognition.
Thank you, Area Director Jamie Bay. On membership strength, we discussed that currently we have got 22 members. So, but many of the members we got in the very last part of last year. So retaining has become a problem. We identified it's a challenge that we need to retain our members. For that, we also discussed how we can overcome that challenge. So basically we thought, so for retaining, we'll have to keep in touch with the members, the first thing. And of course, all the sponsors must be recognized. So far, we have not recognized the sponsors, even though we are recording the sponsorship of any new members, but we have not recognized them. And of course, we need to make a membership plan, membership development plan, where members can share their individual goal, why they are in the Toastmaster, and they can also share their other personal goal that Toastmasters mastermind members can help them to achieve. So with that, we can also, in touch with the members and make their goal fulfill both inside Toastmaster and outside Toastmaster. That can be a very helpful idea to retain the members. And that was only challenge we had. And for achievement recognition, we discussed, we are not maintaining a progress chart for each of the members, and that we need to maintain. Of course, members can directly with BP Education, they can maintain. And from our club, we can also maintain overall members' targets and achievement chart. And we can, accordingly, we can also celebrate that whenever any members achieves anything in his level. Then that way, today our president basically started celebration with Sally's one level. So we will continue this, and so that members also feel part of the celebration. So we all celebrate each one's achievement. And of course, another thing is all members needs to know about the DCP and the educational goal. So that part, so far only club officers are going to the TLI training and they are knowing. So one recommendation came that all members can also join the TLI meetings, and so that they can also get all the information about DCP and club success plan. That is really helpful for everyone. So in case we can have separate educational session, that can also be added. That was we discussed on the meeting. Thanks for everyone's participation. Thank you. Over to our area director, Jamie Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. As a club secretary, I mean, me also the secretary of Mastermind Toastmasters Club, I would like to write the meeting minutes and also write an article to publish in different, in our district news webinar regarding this MOT, because this is the best MOT I have ever done in my Toastmasters career. And the credit goes to Bernard, Basha, and MMR Shohag, because the way you have accumulated the information and presented it, that was superb, wonderful. And I need your PowerPoint slides. I mean, your recommendation challenges, everything I need. The way I send you email, you please send me back so that I can collect, accumulate, and submit it to our Club Exco and write the article to publish in district webinar. Let's see what happens in future. With that note, thank you very much. It was really fun, and it takes 30 to 40 minutes, but today we have done it with 20 minutes. Thank you very much. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Jamie.
Awesome.
Okay, so very quickly, we will move forward to the very exciting and scariest part of our meeting, that is impromptu session. Today we have our very own DTM Bernard as the table topic master. Let's see what he has for us. Over to you, DTM Bernard.
I'm going to keep this short tonight. I'll do just like 6 table topics because of the time, if that's okay with everybody. Okay, my first victim, the first person I'd like to ask, and I'm going to ask the requisite question. Let me start off with Shuva.
Oh, okay.
Shuva, what sustains you on a daily basis? what sustains you on a daily basis? Shubha.
My family. My family. So okay. So we started already. Or is this the topic I didn't talk to?
Yeah, that's the topic. Keep
Okay.
going.
What's that? Okay. Life is not made of roses, but then again, you make your own garden. You get to choose how you gonna what are the types of flowers you want in